Stitchy here, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today is Friday, September 10th, and I am back for my stitching update. It has been 2 weeks since my last one, so I hope you've all been well and you've been stitching and creating and making all of the things. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. This is a video podcast where I talk about my cross-stitching and my quilting. However, if you're not interested in seeing or hearing about the quilts, I show those a little bit later on in the video, but I let you know in plenty of time that they'll be making their appearance so that way you can go on to the next Flosstube video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So how have you guys all been? Hope you've had a wonderful 2 weeks since we last sat down to have a chit chat. This video is a little bit later in the day as well. I wanted to film earlier, like late morning, but we ended up running into a small problem, and so I'm recording now in the afternoon. Probably gonna have to take a little bit of a pause in between because Brian will have to leave to go pick up Ethan from school. Ethan did start school this past week. He started on Tuesday. He is doing in-person learning, which is really good. He has his full 7 classes. Last year he only had 4. But it's kind of funny, when he comes home from school, he is very tired. And it's just because he's not used to that routine. He has not done it in a year and a half. So he comes home and he'll tell me that he feels like he could just fall asleep because, you know, he's just tired. He's not used to that routine. The kids they're not assigning lockers, so he's having to carry all of his books around with him all day. So I joked that he was going to be very fit and buff by the end of the school year. But Ethan did start his 10th grade year in high school. It's hard to believe that my little baby is in high school. My other little baby is getting ready to start her junior year of college, and that'll be in another 2 weeks, I think. I don't know, there's a little bit of confusion. They're supposed to move in, but she's an upperclassman, and typically upperclassmen don't move in until the next week. So there's like a little bit of confusion of when she should move in, and will there actually be something for her to do during the week before classes start. So she's not that far away. She's only about 45 minutes, so she can easily just come home. But for the most part, you know, we're starting to kind of settle into our old routine. It is a little bit weird, you know, just because none of us have been used to it for a year and a half. But you know, we're getting there. Feels a little foreign, but I know that eventually it'll just, you know, be like old news. I think in my last video I did mention that we had to get a new dishwasher. We've had the saga of the dishwasher happen. So it did come last Friday, and they went to go take it out of the box, and it was dented, and I had to send it back. A new one arrived this morning, and they brought it in. It's actually sitting across the room. And this is the living room. I should tell you the kitchen's in the other room, and it's sitting in the living room. And the reason why it is because when they went to go install it, they discovered I guess the seal must be worn out, and when they went to turn off the water, it was still leaking, and so they couldn't install it. And so we had to call a plumber. And the plumber's coming on Monday, and he's actually just going to install the dishwasher, so we were able to get like our install money back. That way we can pay him. But it's just been one thing after another. This year has been extremely challenging. I mean, honestly, I really feel like whoever is, whatever is happening in the universe that has my name on it just needs to lose my number, because I've had enough. And I don't know if you guys remember, there was a movie that came out, this has been like many moons ago. It had Claudette Colbert in it. It was called The Egg and I. And she gets all through the movie, has all these things happen, and then she finally gets fed up, and in black paint on the wall she writes, "I'm through." I honestly felt like doing that today. Anyway, so yes, I thought I would just give you a little brief life update. I've had a lot of people ask how Brian is doing. He is doing very, very well. He was having a little bit of issue with his blood pressure, but they have got that kind of figured out, and they made some adjustments. But all in all, he's doing very, very well, and thank you so much for still continuing to keep him in your prayers. We really do appreciate it. Okay, so before I show what I have been working on over the past 2 weeks, I did receive a package from the Fat Quarter Shop of items that are available now on their website, and I will put a link to the Fat Quarter Shop's website down below. The first item is a quilt pattern by Lori Holt of BMI Bonnet called Flea Market. So this particular pattern comes with the pattern that you see on the cover as well as 4 bonus patterns. The next one is Hello Summer. It's a cross stitch pattern by Isoema, and this was part of their Stitch Quarterly Club. And I believe the Stitch Quarterly Club comes out 4 times a year. Next up is a quilt pattern called Whirlwind. And I can definitely see this particular quilt pattern in a wide variety of various fabrics. So fun. And also by Lori Holt of BMI Bonnet is a cross stitch pattern called So Happy. And it's so cute. And then the Fat Quarter Shop very generously sent me their newest Stitch Quarterly Cross Stitch Club Kit, and that is Autumn Spice. So these are all the items that you get as part of the Stitch Quarterly Club Kit. I'm going to call it a club because when I go and I look up, look for it, you go under clubs. And I will put a link directly to the Stitch Quarterly link. But it is a cute acorn. So you get the pattern. It also comes with a cute needle minder and a needle. And it comes with some thimbles, which I've used these particular ones for quilting. And I can tell you that you can use them over and over and over again. And it also comes with a piece of pale gray gingham 14 count Aida. So this is what you would stitch your cross stitch piece on. And then it comes with the called for DMC. And it's all packaged so cutely in its own little project bag. So very, very fun. So the Stitch Quarterly Stitch Club comes out 4 times a year. And I'm pretty positive from all of the ones that I have seen previously, it is kind of seasonally related, but very, very cute. And thank you so much for the Fat Quarter Shop sending those items to me. And stay tuned a little ways from now, and I will have a giveaway with some of those items. And again, I will put all of the information down below to the Fat Quarter Shop. I also received a little bit of happy mail. Louise Lee contacted me and said that she was going through her stash and she came across this extra chart and she wanted to send it to me. And thank you so much, Louise. I've always really liked the drawn thread, the different welcomes with the seasons. I've watched a couple of Flosstubers work on various seasons, and they're all just such beautiful charts, such beautiful finishes. Even the hubby commented that he really, really liked this one. And I also like that inside she included the conversion that her LNS had given her. So that is very, very helpful because I believe it is kitted with dinky dyes. And that's not something that I have in my stash. And so then, of course, I would have to go into my stash and, find something that would work. But it already came. So thank you so much, Louise. It's perfect. And I'm thinking next year I might just have to include this particular one in my, plans, because I would really like to. I can see in different parts of my house where it would be perfect. So thank you so much, Louise, for thinking of me and sending it my way. And then Audria, she had contacted me and told me that she was working on a quilt, and the backing of the quilt was out of some Paul Revere fabric. And she asked if when she was done, she could send me what was left over. And I said yes, because I'd never seen this before. And it is so very cute. It's all the scene of Paul Revere and his famous ride. And I've been trying to think of something I could do with it. And I'm thinking maybe I might make some pillows, or even I might even put it on a backing of a small reproduction quilt. So very cool. I've never seen that fabric before, but it is very, very cool. She also included a dish scrubby, which I think is hysterical and very true. And then a notebook, which I am always looking for a notebook. and a seam ripper, and the cutest little bow needle minder, which I use needle minders every single day. They definitely have saved my life many, many times, because otherwise I would be losing my needles everywhere. So thank you so much, guys, for sending those to me. I really appreciate it so much, and it's so sweet of you to think of me. All right, so after a very brief pause, I am back. Brian has went off to go pick up Ethan from school, and I have about 15-20 minutes before they get back home. During that time, I realized I forgot one of my projects, and that is the one that I'm stitching with Carol and Yvette and Lauren. It is Our Lasting Friendship, and we stitch or work on it over Blackbird weekend, and I've completely forgotten it, and so I will make a note to show that next time. But I did have a new start, and that is Christmas Rose by Blackbird Designs. And I think I mentioned in my last video that I was planning on starting this one. Ideally, I would like to finish it before Christmas, but if it doesn't happen, it's okay. But so this one you'll be seeing quite a bit, because I'm gonna try to get it done, because it would be nice to have it finished for Christmas. I know I've mentioned before that Christmas is kind of an area where I need to start thinking about, stitching stuff for. I believe I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count Vintage Homespun, and if I'm wrong, I will scroll it down below. As always, I do put all of the correct information down in the description box down below, so if I forget or I misspeak, the correct information will be listed down below. I am stitching it with the called for threads 1/2. And here's my progress. I was able to finish the alphabet and numbers that is at the top. And my next big thing is to figure out which relative that I'm going to stitch it for, because they do, right up here, they have you put the initials of a loved one. So I need to kind of think about that a little bit. Maybe look through my family tree and see if maybe I've got a relative that was born on Christmas Day. That's always a possibility. These are the threads, so it's very like earth tone Christmas colors, which I love. So I think that one's going to be a lot of fun to work on, and hopefully, maybe, fingers crossed, get finished in time for Christmas this year. But again, if it doesn't happen, it's okay. I mean, it's all about having fun and enjoying what you're doing. And I tend not to try to rush through stuff, because that's when I make mistakes all the time. All right, so next up is Turkey Hollow by Stacy Nash. So I'm stitching this with Yvette and Christy Crosshatch Quilts. We started this one a couple of weeks back. This is our Wednesday autumn stitch, although now every once in a while we'll fit in a few extra days. My plan hopefully is to finish it this year, but if it doesn't happen, it's okay. I mean, ideally, because we're about ready to enter the autumn season, I would kind of like to get it done, like November-ish, but if it doesn't happen, it's totally fine. And chances are it's going to get left up year round anyway, because I think it's very, very cute. But here is my progress so far. So on Wednesday, I worked on the pumpkins. I was watching America's Got Talent, so I'm not as far along as I wanted to be. I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count antique white with all of the called for threads 1/2. So the next time that I pick this up will be next Wednesday, and the hope is I'll be able to finish, I think there's like 1 or 2 other pumpkins, continue on with the border that is down below, and then begin working on the scarecrow. And I know at some point coming up we will put it in our rotation for 3 days, which has really helped. Working on our autumn Wednesday projects on Wednesday has been great, but it's been really nice to add like a few extra days here and there. Kind of gets us a little bit farther along, but it's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed working on that a lot. I did get some questions about the lettering that is above the barn, and a lot of you guys were curious where I got my alphabet from, and it's actually on the chart. Above the barn there is a sign, and inside the sign it says Turkey Hollow. I've opted not to stitch the sign and just to stitch Turkey Hollow above the barn. And if you look at the chart, if you're looking at the chart and you look at the signage, it's really, really hard to see Turkey Hollow because the two symbols that are used in the sign look very similar to each other. So what I did is I just went in and highlighted it so I would be able to see it for stitching. But it's already on the chart. If you have the chart, you already have the lettering to do that. And also, one more thing. So when I get done stitching this, I will be dyeing it with the walnut crystals. I've had a lot of you guys concerned because you thought I was going to actually dunk it into something. There's no dunking involved. It's more of like blotting or brushing. When it comes to working with over dyed threads, I would never dunk it, because typically when you're doing if you're doing coffee tea dye, the liquid is warm. So if I were to dump this into a warm pot of dye, the colors would run. No, this I'll just lay it out and then I will brush it or blot it, just kind of eyeball where I want that sort of antique look to be. But no, there's no dunking involved. Next up is Home Sweet Home by Pineberry Lane. So this one I didn't get a lot done. I worked on it one evening. There was like an evening where I forget what was going on. I don't think I was able to start stitching right at 9 o'clock, but I felt, when I stitch, it's typically in the evening. I stitch from anywhere from 8 to 11. And on this particular night, I forget what was going on, but I wasn't able to start stitching at 9 o'clock. And so for an hour, I think I picked this up and worked on it. Because that's kind of like how I like to end my day, is by stitching a little something. So I was able to work on the bush. And I think last time I mentioned that my plan was to add my 4x great-grandmother's initials to this particular piece, because it does have an area right here where you add a loved one's initials. And I've decided instead I'm actually going to put her name on a sampler. And so I'll have to figure out what I'm gonna do. It may be that I won't put anybody's initials there. Maybe I'll do something else. I haven't decided, and I think that's kind of why I've stalled out a little bit and haven't really pushed to get that one finished. And then there is Anne Priest 1841 by the Scarlett House. So this one, I've been working on this one. I don't want to say that I've worked on it every day. Initially, because it's Sampler September, or is it Sampler Soiree? I don't know. I know it is Sampler September. There's a couple of different terms I've heard people use. My plan was to stitch on her as my morning stitch, so I would get a half an hour every day on her, and then I was going to kind of see how much progress I was able to make. Well, that didn't happen. I think it happened one time over the past couple of weeks. But I have worked on her. I do try to get a half an hour in, and if I'm not able to, then I will just stitch on her for a couple of hours in the evening. So I was able last night to get a page finish. So down here, it is, the page went from here down, and I was able to finish the page last night. And next up is the page of words. So there's a verse that sits kind of in the upper middle. And so that is what I will begin working on hopefully today. I'm hoping that I will be able to snag a half an hour and work on it today, but I'm not sure. It depends on how long it takes to edit the video and then, wait for it to upload. It's Friday, so the traffic on YouTube is really heavy and it takes a while to get the videos uploaded sometimes. But I'm stitching this on a piece of 40 count Caramel by Saraphim Fabrics with the called for threads 1/2. And I love this one so much. And I know I say that in every single video, but I absolutely love working on her so much. The colors, it's the colors. I love it. Love. And I enjoy every single stitch. I really, really do. And I think this particular black hair really shows all of the different colors that are used in Anne Priest. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous sampler. So if I can finish her by the end of the year or shortly into the new year, I will be so, so happy. She is going to hang in my bedroom. And so I kid you not, all of like the new curtains that I have, and even the bedspread and all of that, I mean, I've been collecting that stuff for, I mean, I started Anne Priest in November of last year. So since November of last year, I've been kind of searching for curtains and like a bedspread. The bedspread was the thing I found first. It completely matches all of these colors. And then the curtains, I found them, I think in March. But the curtains, even like the colors and just the print on the curtains, it looks, I mean, it looks exactly like Anne Priest. It does. So I pretty much designed my whole, and again, I don't want to say whole room because it's not like, you know, it's not like an HGTV design makeover. I mean, I'm gonna go buy some beadboard. I think it's or shiplap. I'm gonna go buy some shiplap and I'm gonna paint it, and then that's what's gonna be the headboard. And then it's gonna get paint. You know, there might be some painting involved. I haven't decided yet. And then new curtains, and you know, the room's gonna get a nice thorough cleaning, and I might make some new pillows. You know, but I don't want you to think that I'm getting like a whole new room makeover, because that's not happening. Okay, another little pause there. It is now 3:30. Ethan got home from school, and I decided to take the opportunity to get something to eat, get a cup of coffee because it's coffee o'clock. Husband has went off to the grocery store now. Everything got so messed up because of the dishwasher fiasco. So we're a little bit all over the place today. I'm just really hoping this video is okay. Anyway, so while I took a break, I decided to go ahead and get our lasting friendship. This is not ironed, and I apologize for the wrinkles. This is our lasting friendship by Blackbird Designs. So I'm stitching this with Carol, Yvette, and Lauren. It is our Blackbird weekend project. We started this back, was it the end of July maybe? So I've worked on it, I think this is the third time. I made a huge error, and I want to explain what happened because I figured it out. So in the evenings when I'm stitching, Ryan and I, we watch, you know, we'll have something recorded or we'll watch something on Netflix. And typically when we're watching something on television, I don't have any problem following along with what's going on TV and stitching at the same time, because let's be honest, Hollywood long ago ran out of ideas. So honestly, you don't really have to like put much effort into paying attention, because you can pretty much already predict what's going to happen. In fact, my husband and I do that whenever the show starts. We'll either, you know, he or she did it this way, or they're gonna go do this, or blah blah. So a lot of the shows that we watch, of course, ended, you know, back in, you know, May, June. And so we've been watching Netflix and Amazon Prime. So there was a show we started watching called Clickbait, and it is very, very good. It's on Netflix, so if you get a chance to watch it, you should. It's like a murder mystery, suspense, whodunit, but it literally keeps you guessing all the way to the end. And when they reveal who did it, it's shocking because you did not see that coming. So that's what I was watching while I was stitching on our lasting friendship. So stitching, and I am working on this vase that's right here. And so you've got the vase, and right up above it are these two birds. And I stitched the one bird up at the top of the vase, and the bird's head hits the border. I'm like, that is not what it says to do in the chart. And I didn't know honestly what I had done. It took me a little while to figure it out. And then when I finally figured it out, I still don't understand. I'm just gonna blame the show because I was paying more attention to it than my stitching. So here's my progress. Again, I apologize for the wrinkles. I decided to just go ahead and grab it instead of waiting until my next video, because then I probably would forget to show you. But I worked on, I had, this is not very easy to show. I had this part done to like right to here. And then I worked on this motif, this bird, and then I came up here and I worked on this bird. And then this dog is actually in the right spot, but it wasn't originally, it was up. So the bird and the dog were like on the same stitch row. And that's what I based the pot on. Instead of coming down here, carrying this border over like it is now, and then going up 2 stitches, I went up like 8. So it's actually in line with the bird. And because I did that, it makes it quite a bit higher. And this bird right here was touching the border, which I've started to unpick. So naturally, I was very, I wasn't upset, but I was a little irritated that I had made that mistake. And then it's like, well, what do I do now? And luckily, because the sampler is, you know, it's not like all of the motifs are crammed together. They're fairly, you know, they're spaced enough apart so that way I will be able to hide my mistake. What I've decided to do is on the zigzag border, I'm gonna go, where am I at on here? So this border here, I'm gonna unpick it and then go up another, so it's a zigzag border, so I'm just gonna go up another zag, do the corner, and then go straight across. So then that will put me, you know, up above the bird enough that you'll be able, that, you know, its head won't be hitting the border. So that's my plan. Sometime over the next few weeks, I'm gonna finish unpicking the border, and then I'm gonna restitch it before the next Blackbird weekend starts. And hopefully not make any more mistakes. But I just decided to roll with it. Originally, I thought maybe I should just unpick the vase and fix it, but that's a lot of unpicking, and you know, the vase took me like 2 evenings to stitch, and that just didn't hold any appeal for me. So I decided just to go ahead and alter the sampler a little bit. So it's just going to be a little bit taller than, you know, than it should be, but that's okay. I mean, it's my sampler. Honestly, if I was able to stitch a whole entire sampler without making one mistake, that would be amazing, because every single sampler, there's something that's off. I've miscounted, left something out, added something that shouldn't have even been there. The motifs are spaced a little bit farther apart. Maybe the actual motif itself, I miscounted, and there's always going to be something. So in this case, I'm just going to roll with it and just alter the border. Luckily, the border is really easy to fiddle with, so that was the easiest option for me. And then, of course, you know, Blackbird always, you know, if you look at all of the Blackbird charts and you see any open areas, a lot of times they'll stick a little doodad there, so that's probably what I'll do. I'll just stick a little something, because I realize that by making the border taller, that like these motifs here, there's going to be quite a bit of space up above them. So I will just add a little doodad, some sort of little couple of stitches, just a little something. And I'll make sure, because I don't think there's any of the doodads in this chart. So then I will have to make sure that as I go along, I'm adding like little doodads here and there, so that way it evens out and it looks like it was intentional, or you know, it looked like it was part of the chart. But here's my progress, and I am having a lot of fun stitching this. This is a beautiful sampler. The colors are beautiful. It's going to sit next to Anne Priest in my bedroom when I get it done, because these colors will be in some of the elements of my bedroom. And it's beautiful. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I'm stitching it with the called for thread 1/2 on a piece of 36 count Legacy. All right, so in my last video, I did have a giveaway, and thank you to everybody who entered to win. I really enjoyed reading through all of your comments about what your plans for September are. The winner for the John and Abigail cross stitch chart is Paulette Kurt Costa. And the winner for the After the Rain chart with my DMC conversion is Deanna Linkner. So congratulations to the winner, to the winners. I will comment on your comment, but if you are watching this before I get a chance to do that, send me your address via email and I will get those out in the mail to you guys very soon. And again, thank you so much and congratulations to the winners. This video also has a giveaway, and thank you so much to the Fat Quarter Shop for sending me these items so that way I'm able to share with all of you. There are 4 giveaway prizes, and so you will want to make sure that when you answer the question, which I will ask you here shortly, you want to make sure that you are putting which numbers you are interested in winning, because that is how I search for them. So the first giveaway and number 1 is Hello Summer by It's So Emma. So this is number 1. And number 2 is the Whirlwind Quilt, also by It's So Emma. Number 3 is So Happy by Lori Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. And number 4 is the entire kit that is the Stitch Quarterly Club Kit. So this is number 4. So if you're interested in winning the whole entire kit, you want to make sure you put number 4. And again, thank you so much to the Fat Quarter Shop for sending me those items. So the question that you need to answer down below is, what favorite fall dish are you looking forward to make this upcoming fall? Now I realize that a lot of my friends live in Australia and New Zealand, so it would be, what's your favorite spring dish? And all you have to do is put that down below and put which numbers you're interested in winning, and I will pull a winner in my next video and announce it in my next video. Thank you so much to the Fat Quarter Shop for sending me those items so that way I can share with all of my friends. Another little change, the quilt that is behind me will be replaced in my next video, because between now and my next video is the autumn equinox, and that's usually kind of my switch out, and I will decorate for Halloween. So I should have everything behind me will be switched out, and all the Halloween stuff that I decorate with will be behind me. I'm looking forward to decorating my house for Halloween. So Hocus Pocusville will be hanging back up there again. I know that was a favorite from last year, and I'm looking forward to that. So I'm actually going to talk about a little bit of quilting. So if that's not something that you're interested in seeing, this is a wonderful stopping off point. And of course, I will be back in 2 weeks. And if you want to know what I am up to in between, you can always find me on Instagram. I'm Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, or I do have a Facebook page, which is Pumpkin Hollow Quilting. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And so yeah, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about the quilts. So before I show you my quilts, I thought I would show you Freddie, because he was laying down here next to me all snuggly and happy, and I thought maybe he would not want to get down immediately. He's been a little, I don't think he liked the dishwasher delivery people being in the house, and he's been very clingy since they left. Maybe he senses my attitude about the whole thing. But he's been very clingy. He's been kind of hanging out down here next to me. And he was napping and I woke him up. I'm sorry. His hair's starting to grow out since he got his hair cut. He's so adorable. Yes. Anyway, I thought I would show him before I start talking about my quilts. Okay, so now he can go back to sleeping. Okay, so I originally had plans last weekend to work on like quilting for myself, and because it was Labor Day weekend here, so it was a long weekend, so I was going to take Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't going to quilt for clients. I wasn't going to make project bags, minimal. I got all my chores done, and it was just going to be very, because we didn't have any plans. There's not really anything going on. We weren't going to go to the fair. It was just going to be like a quiet weekend at home. And I think the only thing we had planned was we were going to go to the Lindsey Sterling concert. Well, we did go to the Lindsey Sterling concert on Monday night, but that was the only thing that was planned over those 3 days. So I thought, well, I'm going to take the opportunity and I'm going to do some quilting, some sewing for myself. And there's a quilt here that I have part of it done. And then I was also going to work on my Temecula Sewing Bee Monday block. I was going to get caught up before the next one releases. And then I was also going to work on another month of the Temecula quilt album, because I think I'm on month 7 or 8. And that's one that I've been anxious to get it done, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity. It's a long weekend, get everything done. Yeah. Well, hardly any of that happened. I ended up having to do stuff, and I think on Saturday, I sewed for a little while working on what I'm going to show you. And then Sunday, I was supposed to have the whole day, and I actually ended up having to go run errands and get Ethan, because I wasn't able to get all of Ethan's school supplies, so I had to go out and run those errands, and it ended up eating up a lot of the day. And then I forget what else happened, but it didn't work out, and I was kind of poopy about it, because and I was so careful not to even put it out oh, I'm going to do this, because it seems like I say it and then I get stuck doing something. I mean, I did go next door to the nursery and I did get some plants. That took a little time to plant as well. And then, my grandma came over, and there was someone else that came over too. Anyway, but I was a little poopy about it, because I was looking forward to the long weekend and just being able to sew. But I mean, I got a little bit done, so I can't rag on myself too much. And then this past week, when I can, I fit it in a little bit. But even this week, things, it got busy. You know how it goes sometimes, the best laid plans. So the first thing I'm going to show is a quilt that I showed I had all of the blocks done. I just had to assemble it. And so I worked on my video on Friday, and I assembled the quilt on Saturday. And that is the Mini Cake Mince quilt pattern. It was a freebie on the Fat Quarter Shop's website. It uses all pre-cuts, which I just was looking for something that was kind of easy. And I didn't have to do a whole lot of, I didn't have to make a big old mess. I did still make a mess, but anyway, here's the quilt. I have it completely finished. Well, not finished. I have the top finished. So this is how it turned out. So this was done out of Joe Morton's Hopewell line. And I used a layer cake and 4 mini charms. And I also, for my grandma's birthday, I bought her a layer cake and the mini charms of Anne of Green Gables. And so she's making the same quilt, only she's making hers out of the Anne of Green Gables fabrics. Anne of Green Gables was one of her favorite series when she was growing up, and when it came out, I knew I wanted to find something, some sort of a quilt that I could get for her and then give her for her birthday, because I knew that she would really, really like it. So here is my quilt top finish. It was very easy to do, and it makes a really nice, a nice big throw. I do not have the backing fabric for it yet. I think it might actually hang out for a little while along with my red sampler quilt. I think they're just going to kind of chill out for a little while. And eventually at some point, maybe later on in the fall or even early next year, I will get some backing fabric for both of those. Before I forget, the Mini Cake Mince quilt is very much a beginner-friendly quilt. So if you're looking for one to sort of get your feet wet, that is the perfect first one to start off with. Or even if you are a new quilter and you're looking for your next quilt, that one, it would also be a good one. It's all straight piecing, so it's perfect. And I will put a link directly to that free PDF. All right, so for the next quilt, first of all, I cannot take any credit for assembling the blocks. they were sent to me by a very dear friend, along with all of the fabric to put it into its quilt top. I have long been a admirer and lover of the farmer's wife quilt, the quilts that are made out of the reproduction fabrics. I do have to tell you a little story. So years ago, my quilt group, I challenged my quilt group to make a farmer's wife quilt. And I made mine out of all scrappy Halloween fabrics. And it turned out good. I mean, it's all scrappy Halloween. No, I'm not going to show you because it's pretty thrashed. We used it. I mean, it became a utilitarian quilt when I was done with it. But I challenged my quilt group during the whole summer months to make the farmer's wife quilt. And every week I would release however many blocks you needed to make for that week, and I would list the block number and everything, and fun facts and all of that. It was a lot of fun. I was able to finish mine. We started it the beginning of summer, and we had until our Halloween party in October to get the quilts done. And then during our Halloween party, if you finished your quilt, if you brought the quilt top in finished, then you would be entered to win a prize. And it was a lot of fun, and everybody had a really, really good time. But it is a lot of work. So I know how much work went into these blocks. All of the blocks are beautiful. These are only a tiny little fraction of them because I was only able to get this much assembled. And I also have to tell you that for a long time, I've considered remaking the farmer's wife quilt because I love them done in the reproduction fabrics. And they pop up on Pinterest all the time, and it's just, I love all of the quilts made from them. And I also, after I got my Halloween quilt done, I mean, it's a pretty quilt, but there was a huge part of me that wished I would not have done it in that colorway. I mean, it was a lot of work, and I only did it out of Halloween fabric because that's all you have to have I made all 111 blocks. So, I had to have quite a few fabrics, and that's the majority of the fabrics I had were Halloween fabrics because, friends had given me Halloween fabrics, and, so I'm like, well, that's what I'm going to do mine in because that's what I've got. I'm not going to show you the quilt. No. You could probably go back on my Instagram and go like way back. It would have been like 2000 and I don't know, 13, 14, something like that, way back, and you'd probably see a picture of it. But we used it. I mean, and it's in kind of rough shape. But so when my friend contacted me and said, I've got this quilt I'm sending you. It's the farmer's wife blocks. I died. I was like, no way, because I know, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into all these blocks, and she wanted to send them to me. And I mean, honestly, I'm just so blessed that she did, because I absolutely have had the best time going through the blocks, assembling them. I have 3 rows in the other room that are all assembled, and they just need their sashing. I'm going to love this quilt until the day I die because it's fantastic. So this is the progress that I made. This was the quilt that I was working on over Labor Day weekend that I had hoped to get all done, because she also sent, there's 3 extra blocks that are big barn blocks that were years ago. Lori Holt did a quilt along, and it was a barn block, and then there was like a little 6-inch block that went in it. And I think these ones are from that. There's 3 of them. And with some of the other fabric that I have in my stash, I will be able to like make a scrappy backing. So I had hoped that I would be able to get the quilt top finished, and then I would be able to assemble the backing, and then I'd have the whole quilt to show you, and I was going to hang it up behind me. I was going to be like so clever and be like, look what I did. But it didn't happen. So here is what I have got done so far. So this is the corner. So the blocks go like this. So this would be the upper I guess it would be left-hand corner. And I had to make sure that I had all of the different blocks that were directional go the right way. So far they look okay. I would be very upset if I didn't make it. And I see that this one right here, I might have to go and fix this row because I see that this block right here, it should be pointing this way. So I don't know, I might have to go fix that. But this is my progress so far. I absolutely love it. You know what? Maybe I'll go back in and fix this one and I'll turn it that way. I don't know yet. But now that I see it on camera, I think I better fix that. So all of these blocks are so fabulous. They're so beautiful. I love, love, love them all. And I cannot wait to have this whole entire block, or this whole entire quilt finished and get it quilted, and I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's all scrappy reproduction, which is my favorite. I love it, love it. Love it, love it. So, yes, I cannot wait to get that one done. But yeah, it does look like I need to go in there and flip that one block. I thought I had it pointing the right direction, but I was thinking it needed to go towards the corner, and I actually need to turn it so that that way it's, you know, this way. So I guess it's a good thing that I didn't get the whole quilt put together. So hopefully in my next video, I will have that finished to show you. But I just really, really love it. And yeah, it brought back a lot of good memories. And honestly, I will love it until I die. And it might be one of the ones I get buried with. And I know you guys are thinking, what? It's a joke, because there's another quilt, the Long Time Gone quilt, and that's what I always say. Because somebody will say, oh, well, you should, you know, give that to me when you die. And I'm like, I'm going to be buried with it. All right, guys. Well, that brings me to the end of my video. If you stuck around for this length of time, thank you so much. I hope this video wasn't too crazy because on my end, there was a lot of stuff happening. And so I'm just hoping that the video is okay. My plan is, of course, to work on everything that I've shown. The only project that I didn't show is Autumn at Hawthorne Hollow, and that is because I did not work on it over the past 2 weeks, so I am planning on these next 2 weeks to work on it, so I'll have that to show you next time. Quilting-wise, I plan to continue working on the Farmer's Wife and to try to get that done. It looks like I do have some ripping out to do and a block to flip, but that's okay. It's fine. It happens, right? I realize what I did now. I was aiming everything towards the corner and I needed to aim it this way. So I will go in and I will fix that. So I guess it's a good thing. I mean, I know I already said that, but I guess it's a good thing that I showed it in this video because now I know I need to go fix that because it will bug me if I don't. Anyway, so my plan is to continue working on the Farmer's Wife and hopefully have it finished to show you next time. I also would like to work on my Temecula quilt album and the Temecula Mini Monday because I have last month's and then this month I will have to do. If you guys are looking for a quilt along, Temecula does have one that is going to start fairly soon, I believe. It's going to run 6 months. I will put a link to Temecula's blog down below and in case you're interested and you want to check it out. I think my friend Retha and I are going to participate. It'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, I guess I'm going to go ahead and go. I hope you guys have a wonderful 2 weeks. If you have any questions, you know, please feel free to leave them down below. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. And I do thank you so much if you've stuck around this long into the video. I appreciate it. But other than that, if you are interested in seeing what I am up to in between my videos, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, or my Facebook page, which is Pumpkin Hollow Quilting. I thank you so much for stopping by today and have a great 2 weeks. Bye.